is exactly to have that particular answer. The final recommendation after this mammoth process, which has seen Parliament undertaking a process in public participation never seen before in the history of this Parliament. So yesterday the document was read, corrections were made. We are presenting now the entire report. The report was dealt with earlier on, and then the final addendum to the report was that which we corrected yesterday. Now my request to members now is to then, if we agree that where we highlight points of divergence and convergence, those can be reflected as observations. But then we need to have a recommendation which talks to the process that we have undertaken. I now open the discussions to reach that particular point. Any takers? Honorable Shibambu?
Thank you, Chairperson. I want to make a proposal of how the recommendations should appear like in the final report. That the final recommendations must say like, having taken all the observations made above and all the processes that we have engaged in thus far, the Joint Constitutional Review Committee recommends that, number one, Section 25 of the Constitution must be amended to make explicit that which is implicit in the Constitution with regards to expropriation of land without compensation as a legitimate option for land reform, so as to address the historic wrongs caused by the arbitrary disposition of land, and in so doing ensure equitable access to land and further empower the majority of South Africans to be productive participants in ownership, food security and agricultural reform programs. Number two, that a mixed ownership of land, which includes amongst other things individual ownership, direct state ownership and communal land custodianship, must be ensured. That Parliament must urgently establish a mechanism to effect the necessary amendment to the relevant part of Section 25 of the Constitution. That Parliament and Executive must ensure that all legislation related to land reform must be enacted as a matter of agency. Number five, that the security of tenure for farm workers, farm tenants, and those residing on communal land held in trust must be assured. And lastly, that the constitutional amendment bill must be tabled before the end of the 5th Democratic Parliament. That is the proposal, Chair.
There's a proposal by Honorable Shivambu. Any seconder to the proposal? Honorable Smith?
Chair, I want to second it, Chair, but could we, is it possible that we ask Honorable Shivambu just to, because it's not very long, just to give it to us just to look at it? I don't know if it's possible to reproduce it in 5 minutes, but I want to second it because I was writing as he was talking. But okay, from a process point of view, if you could see it, Chair, and I don't know how possible that is, Chair. Because I would imagine, Chair, now that he's put the proposal, and some of us second it. Those others would want to look at it and comment on it.
Can I check from my staff? Can you be able to reproduce what Honorable Sibambo?
In 5 minutes, I'm sure you can reproduce.
Just in 5 minutes. But can I check? Is there any other proposal? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson. Firstly, I want to reiterate that the DA does not believe that this report should now have been tabled, that due process has not yet been followed, and that we still reserve our rights, and that we do believe that the current constitutional provisions adequately allows for progressive land reform, restitution, and the protection of tenure, security, and land rights. Successful land reform doesn't require the amending the Constitution. That which is implicit is made explicit by legislation, and therefore we do not propose any amendment to the Constitution.
That is a counter proposal. Can you also do it in writing so that we can circulate both of them? Is there any other? Okay, so there are two. Okay, so before I do that, is there any second to this proposal? Okay, thank you. Seconded. On record.
For the record, Chair, my name is Vusi Magwebu, member of this committee. I second the proposal by my colleague,
Thank you very much.
Lotrid.
Thank you very much. The first proposal has already been seconded. Yes. So, administration, can you please just can we have a 5 minutes break, members?
Report, so I can't give anyone else who said
on what we discussed yesterday. Now, today we are at a stage where we should make a resolution on the committee's work, which will be a resolution of this committee. There are two proposals on the table, and we have one committee. And the way the proposals are, they seem to be directly opposite. So, however, because we are South Africans, we are addressing a South African question and coming up with South African solutions. Maybe we can reconcile between the two positions. Now, the two proposals having been made, I would like to offer 2 minutes to the sponsors of the proposals to convince us, and members to convince us that this is the way to go. If all the proposals been fleshed on the, okay. No, we are not discussing it. We are not. Come again?
Chairperson, this proposal is slightly different now that was read out to us. So at least we must, I would like to ask 1 or 2 questions.
What you have is different from what was read.
Yes.
Is that the case?
Well, if you look at paragraph E, they say that security of tenure for farm workers, farm tenants, and those residing on communal land held in trust must be assured. That was the original proposal. Then what was added as, and all rentals of communal land must be abolished. I need a little bit more of clarity with regard to that proposal.
Okay. Honorable Smith?
Chair, I don't know where we are in the process. Are we, which are we discussing, both of them, or which one are we discussing? I'm not sure where we are now, Chair.
Actually, I wanted
Okay,
yes.
Chair. Before that, I have no problem with that, Chair, but can I just say something before we get into the proposals?
for that. Honorable Gordon Office is raising something else, I think, or you are going to give an answer to that. Okay.
No, I was hoping to address that, Chair, not necessarily Koornoff's one, from clarity from all of us. You recall, Chair, that our mandate was to go and check whether the Constitution, Section 25 specifically, must be amended, and any other clause must be amended. What we are seeing or the proposal that I should be making, Chair, clarity that I'm seeking, is should we be in our recommendations talking to the how, or should we leave that to the incoming vehicle and just have a recommendation that says change or don't change? That's the question of clarity. Our original one as the ANC spoke about mixed ownership, for instance. The question that I'm asking, Chair, is that something that we should be putting in our recommendation? And motivate why we should or why we shouldn't.
that you make my work easier.
Well, I think Honorable Smith is on point. We're getting lost. We're here, and the question is, should we amend Section 25 or not? And the
process, then it also helps, and it's enriching what we want to achieve, which is indeed to answer the question effectively and fully. So I think let's get to that process now. If the proposers want to make any further argument, clarities and debating, so that other members will then react.
Honorable Tshelizi, on what point?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to suggest that sponsors of these proposals don't give us any clarity.
Okay.
For one reason, we've been through this process, and the previous days, that's exactly what we were trying to do when political parties were asked to provide their recommendations in terms of the process. So the only thing that we should do now is whether, yes, we amend or we don't. Thank you.
I think that convinces me. Honorable Malema?
Honorable Chair, in line with what the co-chair said, the EFF position is in the recommendations, except that we propose that we remove B, complete removal of B, which says that a mixed ownership of land, and then the rest remain. But if you want to get rid of them, or all of them, you can do that as well. Because Smith, the real issue is in A. That's where we are. So I propose you remove B, C, D, E, F. Then we say we are amending the Constitution. Then Parliament knows that once we have amended the Constitution, what becomes the process in terms of the section Honorable Shibambo was referring to.
Thank you very much. Yes. Is that agreeable to members? Okay. Honorable Smith?
Chair, I concur that it should only be bullet point A. I'm just asking the question, and I hear what Honorable Malema is talking about, that Parliament should. Would it be harmful if we put in the C part of it that says Parliament must establish a mechanism? Yeah, I'm saying A and C, and F, yes, A and C and F, Chair, yes.
A, C, and F.
Yes, I'm proposing that it has A, and we can read it, Chair, if you want to, for the sake of Honorable Louis, if it's not, and C and F. Those are the only three. If that's my proposal.
Yeah, all right. Members, so those that were supporting this proposal?
Just a moment, Chair. Just a moment, my co-chair. There was Honorable Mwabe who wanted to.
No,
to
we want, yeah, so
okay.
that we, yeah, just hold on. What we wanted is that the proposer of the amendment of the first proposal, which was done by Honorable Floyd, but we know that is an alternate. We took it. He was doing it for Honorable Malema, right? Yes. So they have put an amendment, and there was a person that seconded that amendment, and he then Honorable Smith. He then also says that he supports that amendment by Honorable Malema, except adding C and F. Now, I'm wanting those that were in agreement with the first proposal to say yes, they agree with in that way. So the proposal is therefore understood to be that. So all that were supporting it are saying yes. Good. Honorable Mwabo, you still want the floor?
Yes, you are still on the
Sure.
floor, Chairperson. Thank you very much. I want to make sure that all of us, we are conscious about this matter. I think Honorable Malema earlier, you were taking us forward. I don't know why Honorable Smith confused you along the way. This is a very highly contested matter. We must be very critical. I want to say, Chairperson, it was correct to say, let's speak on Section 25, because that is our mandate from the House. These other motivations, although we support them, they are correct. But I'm of the view that parties will bring them as their supporting points in the House, because we're still presenting this in the House. And then we then come in support of the position. But as per the mandate, so that we are not, if anyone take us to court, we are not found to have acted beyond our mandate or alter virus, as lawyers would say. Let's confine, I think you also somehow you covered that. Let's confine ourselves to what was given to us as the mandate, the issue of Section 25. These other points will come with them in the House in making supportive point in our position. Thank you.
Malema?
Honorable Mwabe is right, but the problem is that Honorable Smith says it will not cause any harm. It's more about a process. Like, we shouldn't go empty-handed and say let's amend and fold our arms. I have no problem, and what makes me even more comfortable is the DA submission, which says don't amend Section 25 and keep quiet. It laments the observations. Then from there it says we don't support the amendment of Section 25, which is what we can easily do ourselves and say we support the amendment. In the A speaks to that. But the reason why I'm sympathetic is because C and F seeks to suggest how we can possibly now go forward after amending the Constitution faster to put this matter to rest, which is something that Parliament can agree to. It doesn't stop political parties when they debate to expand on those 2 points.
Okay, thanks. You have made a point, Honorable Mwabe. Are you convinced?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you very much.
I'm convinced.
Thank you very much. Now, the sentiment is saying we are not going into discussions. We are answering the question. But now, before we answer the question, I think I have to read the question to members, just to recollect. Yes. On the 27th of February 2018, the National Assembly took a decision that the Constitutional Review Committee should then engage in the question before us. And on the 7th of March 2018, the National Council of Provinces agreed with the National Assembly that this question should be put before the Constitutional Review Committee. And the long and short of this question is, the Constitutional Review Committee should review Section 25 of the Constitution and other clauses where necessary to make it possible for the state to expropriate land in the public interest without compensation, and in the process conduct public hearings to get the views of ordinary South Africans, policymakers, civil society organizations, and academics about the necessity of and mechanisms for expropriating land without compensation. That is the question before us. Now, we have two proposals. Can we go through the first one? It's there. Members
Which one is the first, Chair? Ours?
Yeah.
Okay. Having taken all this into account, the Joint Consultative Review Committee recommends that Section 25 of the Constitution must be amended to make explicit that which is implicit in the Constitution with regards to expropriation of land without compensation as a legitimate option for land reform, so as to address the historical wrongs caused by arbitrary dispossession of land, and in so doing ensure equitable access to land and further empower the majority of South Africans to be productive participants in ownership, food security and agricultural reform program. That Parliament must urgently establish a mechanism to effect the necessary amendment of the relevant part of Section 25 of the Constitution. Parliament must table, process and pass a constitutional amendment bill before the end of the 5th Democratic Parliament in order to allow for expropriation without compensation. So in brief, Chair, we support that in the public interest, the Constitution must be amended to allow expropriation of land without compensation. But having supported that, we know that there is a separate process to which you have to engage before you amend the Constitution. We must not fall into a trap of not following that process and amend the Constitution without following Section C, where in our recommendation, where a separate process to process a bill in order to allow the amendment of the Constitution. So we cannot move here and say Parliament must now vote to amend Section 25. There must be a bill process to allow the amendment of Section 25.
Thank you very much, Honorable Malema. Can I now check those who are in support of this proposal? Before that, members.
Chairperson.
Okay, let me move for a seconder. Honorable Smith, although it has already been seconded, but after the amendment,
yes.
maybe.
For the record, Chair.
For the record.
Yes, for the record, Chair. The amendments as read by Honorable Malema, we are seconding it because, Chair, we have consulted, we listened to what the people have said, and we think this is what the majority of the people are requiring of us to do. So we want to second the recommendation that says A, we take as is, C, we take as is, and F, we take as is.
Thank you very much. Now, members, before I check the hands, I want to okay, I'm being advised here. There's another proposal on the table. Let's put it on. Yes. Okay. Honorable Lodrit, can we go through the proposal again?
Yes, Chair. The proposal, as it is on the screen, the Democratic Alliance and its members on the Constitutional Review Committee state categorically that these observations and recommendations are made under protest. The draft report in which these recommendations and observations are to appear should not be considered yet, as the constituent parts of the report are yet to be finalized. The Democratic Alliance reserves its rights with regard to this draft report, and the making of recommendations under these circumstances should not be construed under any circumstances as acquiescence, approval, or consent of the errors in procedure that have been willfully committed by the committee and some of its members, nor should it be construed as legitimizing the process. And following the constitutional review process, the Democratic Alliance makes the following recommendation. The current constitutional provisions adequately allow for progressive land reform, restitution, and the protection of tenure, security, and land rights. Successful land reform doesn't require amending the Constitution. That which is implicit in the Constitution must be made explicit by legislation, and therefore the DA recommends that Section 25 of the Constitution not be amended.
I need to be clarified here. Is this a DA motion or a motion by members? Okay, but okay, it's fine. Does this cover all the other? Okay, any seconder? Honorable Carter, seconded. Okay, no, thanks very much. That's the motion.
Earlier on, you referred to Honorable Fred Shivambo as speaking on behalf of Honorable Malema, who's alleging that Honorable Shivambo is an alternate. According to our records, Honorable Carter is an alternate. Can therefore an authentic member of this committee second Honorable Lotrit?
Let me clarify it. Honorable Carter is standing in for Honorable Swart. Yes. No, the Muruti is not a member of the committee. He doesn't have voting powers. No, listen to me. Look, members, this is the situation. There is a combination which is called smaller parties. Yes. Now, in smaller parties, we have people who are alternates, and that's Honorable Carter and Honorable Nkosi Buteles. Those are alternates. Now, there was a discussion between myself, Honorable Carter, and Honorable Swart, where we agreed that today Honorable Carter will be standing in for Honorable Swart. Therefore, she has full participation rights in this meeting. Honorable
Chairperson, in support of what you are saying, we did receive the letters from Honorable Singh to explain exactly what you are saying now. So Honorable Carter is here in full status.
Thank you very
much. Clarified.
Right, so that's it. It's seconded. Now, can I check support for the first motion?
Honourable Chairperson, on a point of order.
Uh-huh.
Honourable Chairperson, I would like to know if I understand you correctly. Are you ruling that there will be no discussion on these proposals? Is that your ruling?
Discussed yesterday, Honourable Melder.
No, yesterday these proposals were not on the table, Chairperson. I want to know...
This is a product of...
I just want to understand. So this is your ruling that no discussion will be allowed on these proposals today?
Honorable Butelezi made a proposal that we don't enter into discussions, and there was no dissenting view from the House. And you, Honorable Melder, were part of the meeting.
Honorable Chairperson?
Yes.
the proposal or the suggestion by Honourable Buthelezi was not put to the meeting. You are the chairperson. I'm asking you a question. Are you ruling that no discussion will be taken or allowed in terms of these proposals?
The meeting has taken a decision that there will be no discussions.
Thank you. Chairperson, I take note of your ruling.
There will be no discussions.
Further on a point of order, Honourable Chairperson.
Another point of order?
Yes, sir.
Oh, come on. Okay. Let's hear you, Honourable Member.
I am trying to see you. Thank you, Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, I am not sure if it's procedurally correct to have two proposals at the same time on the table. That's what we've got now. We've got two different proposals, two different motions at the same time on the table. In terms of procedure, you should have one. And there could be an amendment to that one. But you've now ruled that we've got two proposals. You must proceed with the procedure. But I'm just pointing out to you that I think your procedure is very wrong.
Okay. Can I get... Honourable Malema?
No. You see, a person is not just going to wake up in the morning and tell us about some procedure which is non-existent. If there is something that you are doing which is fundamentally flawed, according to rules, he must point the rule. In the absence of the rule, there is nothing that he can say to us we are wrong. So there is nothing to entertain there. Let him point you to the rule that says there will never be two proposals in a meeting. Because if we have a motion on the table and then there is a proposal for amendment, it's equal as another proposal. Those are just semantics. The amendment to the existing proposal can be another proposal. So when we say let's amend the constitution to allow expropriation of land without compensation, and there is an alternative view that says let's not amend the constitution, it's an amendment to the initial proposal. It's the same thing. So there's nothing here. People must not be bitter about losing a debate. They've lost the debate.
But anyway, what are your views on this, Honourable Smith?
Yeah, Chair, I have read the proposal put by the Democratic Alliance or put by Honourable Lotsridge. And from where I'm sitting, Chair, I want to put to this House that we reject that proposal. There are two on the table. I have no problem with what Honourable Mulder is saying. But from where I'm sitting, that one that was put by Lotsridge, I'm suggesting that it, as a committee, we don't entertain it. And I'll give you the reasons why, Chair. First of all, they talk about the process has been flawed. And then after having a flawed process, they make a recommendation. Why will you make a recommendation on something that's flawed? And for that basis, I suggest that this is not considered by this committee and we only go with proposal 1 as agreed earlier on. That is my view.
There's a proposal by Honourable Smith that proposal by Honourable Lotrick be dismissed. Is there anyone who seconds that?
I second.
Seconded.
Dismissed and dump it in the dustbin of history.
Is there anyone who's adamant that it must see the light of day? Okay, can I see those who say the proposal by Honourable Lord should be dismissed by a show of hands? One, two. Hmm? 12. And there are 12 in favor of the proposal being dismissed. Now, those who say the proposal must stand, can we see by a show of hands? Honourable Buthelezi, you are not allowed to vote. Yeah, it's 4. No, it's all the members. And there is no one who's abstaining. I'm saying there is no one. Yes. So the motion by Honorable Lodrit has been dismissed. Now we are left with one motion.
Shame, you need the money.
Now, having only one motion on the table, can I see those who support the motion? Oh, shit. Okay. It's 12. And can I see those who are against the motion? Okay. It's 4. So there is no abstention? No. She's not abstaining. Yes. Yes.
Then earlier on you said 5.
No, I said 4.
No, she can't.
Can you address the chair?
No, they're just talking.
Hey, Honorable Mtapo.
Order.
All right. Now, it means the motion before the House is this motion, which has been agreed to.
Honorable Chairperson.
By the committee.
Yes.
On what point, Honorable Melder?
Honorable Chairperson, I understand what you're saying. I want to ask the following from the Chair. We all know how this committee works. It's set up in a certain way where parties are represented. But we also know that there are other parties that are not members of the committee, but they were allowed in terms of this current process and in terms of a decision taken by the Chief Whips to participate in the process. And they have participated up to this point. Because they are not members of the committee, they are not entitled to vote. I'm asking the Chair if you are prepared to allow the parties to indicate if they support. It's not part of the result. It's part of the minutes. Or are you saying we are not allowed to say in the House? The Chair will decide.
Yeah,
we don't have time, Chief.
Yeah, you are not a member.
You see, members, I don't want to engage in a futile exercise. In an exercise which will not change anything. So I'm not going to go that route. Safe to say, those parties were given the right to participate, and there was never a time where they were barred from taking part in the processes. And they are still going to take part in the processes as we take these issues to the House for debate.
Chair,
So,
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Swart, Honorable Melder, I'm sorry, I have to overrule you.
No, Honorable Chair, well, let's correct something there.
Yes.
It is extremely incorrect for Honorable Mulder to now pretend as if he doesn't know how these things work. He knows very well that Honorable Carter represents them. Smaller parties are represented by Honorable Carter. And they've expressed themselves. So it's disingenuous to want to pretend as if they didn't vote. They voted through Honorable Carter. And it's not our problem that they don't have serious numbers to participate on their own in this thing. Go and win elections.
Thank you very much.
And stop winning court orders. Win elections.
Members, this is not a subject for debate.
Honorable Chairperson.
No, I'm not going to allow you.
On a point of order, Honorable Chairperson.
On a point of
yes,
order.
on a point of order.
Okay.
The Honorable Malema is not informed. Because if his argument is correct, Honorable Carter just now voted on behalf of the PAC and the APC. He's not informed. You don't know what the facts are. These things are discussed at the Chiefs Whips Forum where you are not present.
No, well, that was not a point of order.
It's a point of cost order.
Chairperson, Honorable, we must move now.
I think that let's remind the Freedom Front Plus that in the deliberations they had a separate opportunity to make 15 recommendations. about this process. So they must not portray a picture that they were disallowed to participate in this because they want to use that as grounds of objection. They were even given equal time with parties that are 200 times bigger than them.
Thank you, Honorable Shibambo.
In terms of the whole process.
That was not a point of order also. Now, colleagues, I'm putting before you the report of the committee on the work that we have done since the instruction of Parliament on this committee until today. And I want to... Yes, members have gone through the report, they have enriched the report, they have corrected what was needed to be corrected, and now I would like members to express themselves in adopting the committee report. Any mover for the adoption? Or
Chair, just before adoption, is it possible for the legal advisor to this committee to explain to us, or not to explain to us, to give us clarity? Do we have to go page by page, or can we do it in your fashion? I don't want us, at the end of the day, to be challenged on how we adopted the report. If you could give us advice, there's a 20-page report. Do we take it page by page, or can we adopt it as it is?
Can we hear you?
Chair, thank you very much. The first thing I inquired when I got here was whether the report had been discussed by the committee before. And I was given an indication that it was already presented to the committee. So I think at this stage, from a legal point of view, Chair, there will be no need necessarily to go through the entire report again if the committee has already gone through it. Unfortunately, I have not been part of this committee until now. So I'm quite comfortable that if the committee has gone through it, it can be presented. But there is nothing, Mr. Smith, that prevents the committee from taking a decision to go through it page by page. So from a legal point of view, you can do either of those. If you have pressures of time or other exigencies, you can still just present the report as already discussed by the committee.
Just addressing one logistical issue.
Chairperson, from the legal view, from the legal opinion, Chairperson, I think it's we can just adopt it.
Yeah.
Because we've done it a number of days. We have been going through this report now and then.
Okay. We'll just change some few things, like where there is a draft, what, and make it a full committee report. Yes. All right. And then we will have the final recommendation as number 7 on the report.
Chair.
Can I? Okay, Honorable Malema.
I think there must be some a very conclusive paragraph towards the end there that the committee is overwhelmingly satisfied with the process. Yes, we don't be shy and be scared of some few observations. Majority of the committee is satisfied, because I got committee's majority. The committee is overwhelmingly satisfied with the process, and that this process it's attracted huge numbers. It is unprecedented. That observation is very important to make.
Okay. Members, what are you saying to that? Honorable Mampuru?
No, thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Malema has said it because we are the ones who are able to travel across the country to listen to the people. Oral submissions were given to us, written submissions. We had what it takes. We are very, very much satisfied. All the other processes follow later. We are happy. Thank you.
Saying in conclusion, you want us to make this particular observation. Yes. Okay. Agreed to. Or any dissenting view? Nothing. So that's it. Come on. You have a proposal on what?
Of the report.
Come again?
Adoption of the report.
Oh, we have not yet adopted the report. Yeah. Anyone who proposes adoption of the report? Honorable Mkumlwani?
I've already made that. I make again that proposal for the adoption of the report.
Any seconder?
Honorable
Mwabe?
Yes, Chair, for record, we fully support the adoption.
Thirded by Honorable Mkweli.
No, there's a proposal for adoption. There should be a mover, then a seconder. Yes, so Honorable Mkumlwani, yes, was proposing for the adoption. Then
can I hear you, Honorable Mkumlwani?
That's how it is done.
English is not my language. I move then if there's
No, you propose for adoption.
And somebody else moves.
Moves, yes.
Oh my God. Whatever.
Hey, hold on. What are you guys doing? Isn't it that we tabled the report to you, and then you committee members moved for its adoption, and then it was then seconded. So, yes, because we tabled the report. Sure.
Can we see those in favor of the report being adopted? Are you done? Who's coming? Okay, thank you. 12 in. Can I see those against the report being adopted? Okay, it's 4. Therefore, the report is duly adopted. And colleagues, this work of us will be referred to the House. Yes, to the 2 houses of Parliament. And therefore, this session is adjourned. Thank you very much for your participation.